Well, I was 18 years old, just turned 18, and I was looking around out there, to see if I could meet somebody, some pretty lady or something. And as time passed, and one day I come home from work. I was laying in my rack, and my buddy had been going with the girl. He'd been there, and this girl was living with Pat and Donna, and a girl named Dory Metcalf that lived with. They came from Cedar Woolley down there to live with them, and so they lived in the house, shared the rent, but Pat was paying most of it. But then, because she had a really good job, and the other two girls wasn't keeping up, wasn't keeping up with them, but there they were. And they were okay. But they decided to move to a different one that's cheaper because one of the girls was going to leave. And on the day they had to move, this guy woke me up. Well, he didn't wake me up. I was just laying there. I really wanted to sleep. He said, "Carter, what are you doing?" I said, I'm taking it easy, man. He says, "Get up. I want you to go with me." I said, "Where are you going?" He said, "My girlfriend's had to move, and I have to go out and help her move." I said, "I don't want to do that." He says, "There's three other girls that live with her." I said, "Three?" He said, "Yeah, I'll try to form you that apartment. They live in a very nice place by the Space Needle, a big apartment, a very nice one." He said, "Come on, go with me. You ain't doing nothing." And I said, "Well, I might meet somebody. I go out there." So I went with him out there. Went up the elevator, about the sixth floor, whatever it was, right downtown. Walked up there, knocked on the door. Donna came to the door. She knew the other guy, my friend. And he told her, this is Charles Carter, and he's my buddy, and he's going to come in to help us. I told her hi, and she said hi, whatever. Walked outside. He went with his girlfriend somewhere, and Donna was there, and then she turned with, did something. And I just walked in there a little ways, and I walked into the kitchen. I'm standing there looking around the kitchen for something to eat. Wasn't nothing. And as I sat there, Donna came back. And I says, "Who's these other two girls?" Well, she says, "Me and my sister and Dory." I said, "You got a sister, huh?" She said, "Yes, I do." She was a smart thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she never changed.
No.
I says, "Well, I'd like to meet her." I don't know why I did it. I don't know. she says, well, it won't do you any good. I said, well, how? I said, how can you know that? I said, let me figure it out myself. So she said, well, I'll go get her. Just like that.
Oh, that's great. Love it.
And she walked down from the kitchen, like from here toward the picture is over there in the corner. That's Pat's room. She was in her packing. Donna told me she's in her packing. And, I said, I'd like to see her anyhow. So she told me that. And away she went. She walked by the door. She said, Pat, there's a guy out here. Says he wants to meet you. And says his hair's combed and his shoes are shined.
Really? His hair is cold.
I said, okay, but you give me a minute. And Donna took off and on down to where she was going to her room, doing what she was doing. Directly Pat walked out. Beautiful girl. She had on a pair of gray and black slacks. Hair was deep. She wouldn't have done it up before she come out. She's that way. A pretty sweater. And she walked out. And she come up and I told her hi. Told her what my name was. She told me what her name was. My damn nose started bleeding.
Really?
Just a little bit. I thought, I don't know what's going on. Maybe I'm up too high here in this place. And she said, just a minute. She went and got me a couple of napkins.
Jesus, really?
She didn't wipe it, but she gave it to me and I took care of it. And we talked just a few times, a few minutes. Didn't really say nothing, just. And she said, well, I've got to go back and start packing. I said, okay, I'm here with my buddy to help you guys get moved. She said, I'll see you later. I didn't talk to her no more till we got them moved. Then told them goodbye. Glad to have met you. And decided we was going to come back the next day and help us do anything that need help. So we left. The next day came back again and talked to her. I asked her somewhere along the line. I got brave. And I asked her, I said, would you like to take a drive around town, show me around? I haven't been there very long. And we'll take you to a girlfriend, the I'll bring a guy, and we'll just go out for a drive. Well, she said, sure. We'll go. Okay, set up a date for the next day. Went over there, walked in there, walked up there, and got him, and walked back down to the car. Her girlfriend said, had a camera. She said, I want to take a picture. I said, okay. So Pat and I walked over by the side of the apartment thing, by the car. And she stood right there. I just walked up to her and I put my arm around her. And she didn't move.
Yeah.
I said, this is okay. Take your time.
Take your time.
And so we took a couple pictures. These guys car took off. We drove here and there. And then we might have stopped, got a hamburger, or stopped, got some fish fries, or something, fish and chips, whatever. I came back. And I talked to her, just her and I together then for the other two was talking over there. I told her, I thought I'd like to do this again. And I asked her if she'd be willing. But I said, I'm not going to bring anybody. Or I don't want to bring anybody. Just you and me. She said, okay. So I made a date with her. And after that, I was, I guess I was in love with her. Since the time she walked out the door. I didn't know how she felt. But so we started to go together. She worked at a place where they typed everything for the Blake Moffitt town, big company. She had 8 girls who worked under her. And since she got out of school, she had worked up into that job. Been there for several years. And she went to school at that. I went to school at that time to college to learn shorthand and things like that helped her to go. But she had a hard job. I went to school, and she also went to oh my God, it's kind of like a beauty school, but I forget what it was. But it was that kind of a school where it helped her relationship with whatever. And once in a while she worked part time at a coffee shop there, right there in town, a little coffee shop. One counter. And she worked at Macy's during the Christmas time. So after a while, we were going steady. And I never tried to get her to get married or anything. Never said nothing. In the springtime, I took 2 leaves, went home on leave. Drove down there and back my old car. While I was there, I looked around and everything. And I decided that if she would have me, I'd go get married. I didn't have a slice idea she'd say yes. So when I got back, I made up my mind. And just picked up where we left off. I had a part-time job also. I'd run a water scout, water thing at a mill,
Water park?
you know. Just water things, a boat. You get in a boat, I put you around, hooked it on down, and took you up to the top, you moved around, whew, down it. I run that thing. I took on a ride on it.
Wow. I didn't know that.
She said, I'd like for you to go up and meet my family. I said, sure, where do you want to go? She said, well, as soon as you can. So how about Sunday? I'm off Sunday. So Sunday we got in the car and drove up to Mount Vernon. I met her family, very nice family. Her dad said, come out, got the car, and he said, I'm going over to the ice lock. There's an ice place over there where they kept all their meat. And they're going to go over there to get some roast or something. And I said, I don't know. I said, would you mind if I were with you? He said, no, get up. So we went over there, just old farmer. And we, no problem. We got back over to her house, and I didn't know it. We left after been there that day before we went home. Grandma, smart lady, she was a school teacher. Her and Pat was down in the kitchen fixing our dinner. And Grandma says to Pat, she says, Pat, like that, Pat, Chuck's in love with you. She could tell. Pat said, I know it. I don't know if I asked her how do you know it, but she knew. She knew. But she told me that on the way back to Seattle.
Yeah.
So I told her she's a smart lady, ain't she? Pat said, yeah, she's a teacher. So I don't know how it happened. I can't say it. But we decided to get married. And now it's just before, it's September now. Her birthday's coming up. She's really gonna be 22.
Probably 23.
So, we had her birthday. Now we're gonna get married. When are you gonna get married? I told her yesterday. Well, she can't do that. It's too fast. Her sister, one of the girls living with her was getting married in December. I said, well, how about February? 15th, Valentine's Day. Well, sure, she said, that sounds good. I said, that's a long time. We'll make it. So we got her done. We got her the gal living with her married. So she's out of the house. Now we got Pat and the two girls there. Cost too much to live there. So they got to move again. So they found a house in the 9,000 block just north of University District. You all living in there. They moved out there. Nice house, 3 bedrooms, everything. All the furniture belonged to Pat. Moved in there. So, we had our birthday, had my birthday. Pat turned 23. But she lied to me. Probably wasn't the first one she lied to me about, but anyhow, it's a lie. She turned 24. She had on her driver's license and everything. Born in 1929 instead of 28.
Yeah.
And I didn't know about it till years later. Isn't that odd? I didn't keep she was 35. So I had my birthday. Rocked on, we got through Christmas. And now it come down to get time to get married. We got our license. But back there on her birthday, I told her, Pat, I don't have any money, you know that. I don't have no money to get you a engagement ring. He said, Chuck, I don't need one. You know I'm engaged, I know you're engaged, that's all we need. But she said, we got to have a nice set of wedding bands. One for you, and one for me. I said, okay, good. And over time, we found the time to go out and look for them, found them very nice. She picked them out. So we had them. Come February 15th, we got married.